Good morning, sir.
Hi. Morning, Jacqueline. Please have a seat. Tell me a bit about yourself, Malak.
My name is Malak. I'm currently in grade 11. Do you want to know about my characters?
Yeah, as a person, how would you describe yourself as a person?
As a person, I'll describe myself as determined and passionate because that's how I do everything in my life. Sometimes, let's take me an example. My passion sometimes can be passed off as aggression, but I feel like.
So you're admitting that you can be aggressive.
So I want to start by talking a little bit about you and why you think that you should win this process. So what sets you apart from every other candidate within this process?
So the fact that I was on the losing team every single task is a negative thing, but the positive thing about it that I was never brought back by the team manager, which definitely shows that I'm always up to date doing my work in the best standards, and they really trust me. They know that I don't have many mistakes or any mistakes.
Tell me a little bit about your business plan, because just on the surface of it, it's baking cakes for people.
Yeah.
Which to me doesn't particularly inspire me. So I think you're going to have to kind of sell it for me now, because what's written down here in the business plan is, fairly arbitrary.
Okay, so the business plan is a bakery, and the whole point of it is to make people's dream a reality. So sometimes you want your own cake or your own dessert that has its own certain features, and not every bakery can do this for you. Like I had
there's Mr. Baker, and in fact most of the bakeries I can go in. I have 2 daughters. I can get a birthday cake. I can make a princess cake.
But then I already have a business on Instagram, and
how many followers do you have on Instagram?
We have almost like 6,000 or 7,000 followers
on Instagram.
One thing one thing that does concern me is that when I look at your SIMS data, which I requested, in this year you have been late on 42 occasions. So this is going to be, if this is replicated within your business, this is going to be a large chunk of that profit you're talking about. It's going to be a substantial amount of money you're going to be paying back to a lot of customers, absolutely, and which in turn, we're talking about financial. We're also then going to come on to the point about reputation, something that you've got to uphold by being punctual. So the floor is yours.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.
So whenever I do something or whenever I do a project, I do it right.
Okay.
And I give it in time. What my SIMS shows that I'm late on 42 occasions. I'm not late because I was irresponsible. I was late. I do a lot of different projects in schools, and actually I take permissions from teachers. I don't know, some teachers mark me late, but I'm on every single occasion. I was never late without a reason.
Okay.
I was late because I was working on different projects. I was late because I was doing something for the school or something that's related to business or a project in school.
Okay.
I'm always involved in projects. I'm always involved in these kind of things. So I was never late for just being irresponsible for the sake of being late.
Saying you're good at following instructions, do you think you're good at thinking outside the box, being independent?
Well, yes, obviously. I'm good at listening to. It's the thing. I'm good at managing the team, and at the same time, I'm going to listen to the team, because there's a difference between a boss and a leader. A boss will just forget what the people want to say, and a leader is someone who listens and takes responsibilities.
Perfect. And leading on from that, therefore, what would be your greatest weakness, and how would you deal with that in terms of business?
Well, sometimes I'm told I'm a perfectionist, and I feel like I'm a bit obsessive on details. So I should lay back on that sometimes, but I feel like it's also a strength at the same time.
Perfect.
So basically, sir, my business plan was a stationary vending machine. This stationary vending machine, in my business plan, I wrote that I shall buy two of these vending machines. These vending machines are customized, made in China with low prices and high quality.
How much would it cost to build one?
4,000 dirhams per unit.
How much would it cost to ship?
to the UAE?
It's 4,000 including shipping and VATs.
You sourced all this?
All of this is on my business plan.
It's disappointing because that actually sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a good idea. But unfortunately, I couldn't sit there and give you any praise or advice because I didn't have the plan in front of me. And that's disappointing. Because all of the others, that sounds like one of the better ideas I've heard compared to the other ones that I've read through. Let's go to your conduct. You have 6 behaviour points. It's not a lot compared to some students in the school, but we're not talking about other students, we're talking about you, who wants to be a professional, who wants to conduct themselves as a businessman, and go into business with a teacher, essentially. So you should be a model student. Now the reason why you have behaviour points is refusal to follow instructions, incorrect equipment, incomplete classwork, incomplete homework. So it's this trend of not hitting deadlines, not doing work, actually not working hard as you purport. Refusal to follow instructions, Mohammed, that's quite frightening. Because say if Sir Ali wants to direct you in something and you disagree, what's going to happen? Are you going to be bullheaded and say, I'm not doing this, as we've seen in the boardroom, banging on the table, is that what you're going to be?
Wait.
I'm not doing this, Sir Ali, I'm not doing it.
Sir Ali, he doesn't bother for the 10th time, as I say it, sir, about his candidates.
So let me ask you a question.
Wait, sir, let me finish please my point. I was hearing you, please.
Let me just ask you a question based on what you've just said. So initially you said Dr. Ali doesn't listen, he doesn't bother to check things, this is the 8th time it's happened, 10th time it's happened, yes?
Yes.
So why do you want to go to business with somebody like that? Why do you want to go into business with somebody you cannot rely on?
This was a big mistake for me from the beginning.
Okay, so leave.
I thought Sir Ali was a successful person, was a successful businessman.
So why are you wasting my time by being here then? If you think he's a waste of time and he's not successful and not this, it's a mistake you joining the process, you're free to leave. You're free to leave.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
Business plan is a gaming corner in school. It will be located in front of the secondary boys area and in front of the cafeteria. There will be 3 consoles and 3 LED TVs, okay, with 6 controllers and 6 USB chargers. For each 2 individuals, we charge 15 dirhams only. As other competitors, they charge 35 dirhams, as it's written in the plan.
So this is going to be in school?
Yeah.
So basically, you want to come to a place of learning, a place of study, a place where the school's investing in the future of children, and you want to make it into a game shop where people come and have frivolous fun.
It will be in break times when they usually don't do anything, so they'd like to entertain themselves with the game.
So you're telling me that in the Middle East that has an issue with diabetes, where it's very hot outside, where the primary aim of educational leaders is to get the children moving and having a fit life. You want to come into my school, you want to come into this educational establishment, and the one time, the few minutes that they get to run around outside and exercise, the few minutes they get to exercise and run around, you want them to be staring at a screen, which is probably what they do for 6 or 7 hours every night. Is that right?
Yes. It is. It's a good business plan because we know our customers what they need.
They need to get outside, they need to run around, they need to lose weight, they need to eat healthy.
But it's all about getting profit for me.
Let's talk numbers. In the first year, what do you predict your profit to be?
So if we start by 10,000, I think about 50,000.
50,000 in 1 year. And by 3 years, what do you think that your profit will be?
About 300,000.
About 300,000. Where are you getting those numbers from?
From research. Although I just want to say something that I don't have a lot of business, like because I'm 50 and grade 9, So it was a bit hard for me to find the numbers and all of this, but I asked my dad, who works in this industry. He works, if you know Aramex, it's, delivers. I asked him, I got the idea from him, like he was having a problem with a lot of stocks from souk.com. So this is when I had the idea, and I didn't want him to help me a lot because I wanted to handle it by myself. So and then he told me that at the beginning of the year you won't like make a lot of profit, but after the years it will be double or triple the amount.
Okay. So you also talk here about you would be selling high quality items and brands and cheap prices through a very smart strategy. What is that smart strategy?
The strategy that I said is this strategy that I'm talking about. We're gonna get them at the end of each month rather than like waiting for a year or something. We're gonna always have stocks and sustainable. Like it's all websites. Like the best selling websites will at least have 15% of their items returned. So if we franchise with them, they actually want that. They want a company that can take their stuff, because it's just more definitely than it's their loss if we don't buy it. So I think they're in need for us.
I finished 4 of my interviews and I have Miss Eloise left, and I can say that it's all been good. I've been really stressed out, but it's all been good stuff. And Mr. David, all of the candidates were pretty scared after they left the interview with him. And from that I was really stressed out from the interview, but after I went there, I thought it was amazing. It was one of the best interviews that I've done out of the 4. And I feel good.
You realise you're going into a market that is quite saturated. Yeah, there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah.
What's going to make you stand out from the rest?
I'm going to enter a niche market, which basically means that I'm going to be like targeting specific people, diabetics, people that want low fat, sugar free, gluten free. But to be honest, I'm obviously going to have to take like health, I'm going to have to take a few lessons on these nutrition facts and all that kind of stuff to be able to make them. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And looking at your ranges of cakes, they look very, very nice. These are things that you produce currently on a small scale, yeah?
Yes.
You've baked all these cakes?
Yes.
Yeah? And you baked them, how many carrot cakes have you baked in one go in the past?
As in how many carrot cakes, as in
And one time, in one day, how many carrot cakes have you ever made?
I don't make slices, I make big portions.
Yeah.
And then I get cut slices and that, but I do make a lot, for my family, teachers, anyone.
Yeah, but you do them one at a time. How are you going to cope when you have to make several?
I do, because once we had a family gathering, and my mom, she didn't have time to make desserts. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll bake desserts. I made about 4 or 5 desserts in just a day. It was really stressful, but I got used to it. And once I had to wake up 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning to make desserts, just so I can catch up.
Yeah.
And I'm good. If I have strong passion for baking, so I'm fine with it. It's not I feel tired after. No, I'm fine with it.
Perfect. Okay. So, you mentioned previously that you're going to be targeting niches in the market. What do you think are what would be your top 2 niche markets that you think you would like to exploit?
I'm not very, okay, I'm going to be targeting, people that have health issues, and I'm going to target diabetics.
Okay, so you're going to be involved in making a range of diabetic cakes.
And I'm also going to target high income earners, people that get lots of money from work. Also, people with high disposable income.
Yeah, so high income. So these are going to be premium quality cakes. Okay.
What's your business? How did you come about creating this business? What's your passion?
So basically, the business name is Desi Dhaba. Basically revolves around Pakistani food, traditional food. And it also, basically it's a pop-up shop, right? So it's going to go to different places, different times, and it's going to have a vibrant ambience of a Pakistani truck art. Pakistan, if you don't know, is famous for its truck art, and it's painted with integrity and stuff. So that's the theme. The truck art is the theme. So the pop-up shop. So according to the season, we're going to take it to different places. In front of the park, in pleasant weather, we're going to have it in front of the park or inside the park. And for example, in summers, we're going to have it on the beach.
Okay.
Take it to the beach.
Yes. In terms of the pop-up, You mentioned that's part of the Pakistani culture. Is that right? Is that right?
It's not pop-up, it's the theme that
the truck. Yeah. In terms of the pop-up, how long does that take? Give me an idea. You decide you're going to stand Creek Park on a Friday. What's that?
For example, if we stand on Creek Park on Friday, according to the sales, like however much sales we get, we're going to stand there for longer. Like on Friday, I think there's going to be a lot of rush hour to rush hour. So we're going to get in a lot of sales. And so we're going to stick with that for that particular day.
Okay.
Whereas if you're not getting enough sales, then we're going to go to the downtown park, for example.
Yeah. So it's very much a sales demand driven.
It's according to the sales.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yes.
Is this a saturated market already, though? I mean, there's so much competition, right?
Yes.
They all want a slice of that 43%.
Of course.
What's setting you out from the rest?
Okay. I stated 5 companies that we're going to compete with. What makes my company different from all the other companies, this is written in my business plan, is the things that we're going to offer. First of all, we're going to offer good prices for high quality services. Good prices for high quality services, number one. Second of all, customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is one of the most important things. Actually, not one, it's the most important thing when you do business. Customer satisfaction. And then loyalty. Customer satisfaction and loyalty. I will achieve this by giving a loyalty card to everyone who's going to do business with me. If you come to me and do business with me, I'm going to give you a loyalty card. If your spending exceeds 50,000 dirhams, I'm going to give you a 20% discount on the next service you ask. So loyalty card, you make sure that the customer is hooked up. You make sure that the customer will do business with you, keep doing business with you. This is number one. The second thing is customer satisfaction. We're going to say things like, if you didn't give me the video on time, we're going to give you 30% cash back. If the video wasn't, if you didn't like the video, or if I did the video differently, I'm going to give you 100% cash back and do you another video. So either do you another video for free or give you 100% cash back. That's it. Customer satisfaction, making the customer satisfied, making sure that the customer will come back to you, will do business with you. And when we say things like this, it shows the professionalism that we're working on. It shows how confident we are from our service. It shows, it makes the customer feel good. It makes the customer feel confident about the service you're providing them.
So 3 to 5 years time, where do you see the business?
We really hope, me and my partner, we really hope that we would, have a really great reputation. We already have a good reputation, but we wanted, everyone in Dubai and in the UAE would know us. So right now in my online business, we deliver it to Abu Dhabi, and we deliver it to Milqawain, we deliver it to far, parts, and even some of them from America called us, and then we were like, no, we can't, it's okay, we can't deliver it to America, obviously. So, what was the question again?
Where do you see the business in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, okay. So, I hopefully would want
You're
to
not paying
open.
attention?
I am. We want to open 1, 2 to 3 shops within the country itself. After we want to have a good reputation. I said that we want to collaborate with other companies, not specifically cake companies, but more like
confection,
like hotels, restaurants and stuff.
Just say that here actually.
I'll give you the floor first and ask you to tell me a little bit more about your plan. I've read the proposal. It's unique, and I like the originality of it. I want you to tell me a little bit more. Where did this come from?
Okay, so basically, I've made a sketch. Maybe it would give you more ideas about what my product is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so basically my product is a microwave vending machine.
Yep.
So there's meals inside this machine, which is which freezes those meals. Okay, the meal is chosen by the consumer. The meal falls into a microwave, which has a lid on top, and then closes. This microwave then starts heating depending on the objects, what object it is, okay, or what product it is, and then the consumer gets his meals and he enjoys it.
Okay. I like the idea. As I said, I think it's unique. I have 2 key concerns. And I want to sort of give you an opportunity to talk about both. The first is the cost of such a machine. Is this viable? Is this cost effective over time?
So I've made all of my costs together. Okay. So this machine is going to be 5,414 dirhams.
Yep.
The microwave is going to be 97.5 dirhams. The customization of putting the microwave in the machine will cost 90 dirhams from the company, and then each of the products, the maximum the product got is around 20 dirhams, 10 dirhams, yes.
Okay, per piece.
Yeah, no, this is 5.5, depending on the product, really. This is 5.5, this is 5, 10, 5.5, and 7.5.
So you're talking about 5,700.
5,600,
yep.
3.5.
Yep. Exactly. And in terms of maintenance of such machine, is this something that's readily available? Would you be able to source the staff to?
I think the maintenance won't be a really big problem.
Okay.
Because there will be it will be changed regularly. It will be refilled regularly by the keeper of the park.
Yep.
Or by if the government didn't accept this, I can put refilling employees.
Okay. Yep, that was in your plan.
Exactly. So yeah, the maintenance won't be like a big issue. Buruj 2000, I've talked about the company that's going to do all the maintenance for me.
Yep.
And
This charger cost me 20 dirhams, and that's portable, and I take it with me wherever I go.
Okay. Actually, I did some research, and through the good quality fast charging phones, chargers are on a range of 100 to 200 dirhams. So if you want a good quality charger, you can, and you don't want to pay, you can use this. If you would rather go and buy a 20 dirham charger, which might break in like 1 week, which has happened many times, and you're gonna keep on doing that, you're gonna end up paying the same amount, and even.
It's a really nice idea. You're going to help a lot of people in a country that's struggling. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so unrealistic. It's unrealistic. You need millions and millions to do this. You've got to source your wheat. You've got to make sure you can ship it across, fly it across, get a factory, get all the equipment, labourers. I don't think even 7 million is going to cover it. It's absolutely crazy. You may as well try and make a rope using clouds and sell it.
Well, sir, I appreciate your opinion, but I will stand behind what's in that booklet because that's who I am, and my idea will become a reality.
Malak, it's crazy.
So
it's crazy, Malak. It's crazy.
So it's crazy.
You need to get out of your head.
It's not crazy.
You need to get it out of your head. You need to get it out of your head.
Well, sir, what if I tell you this idea has been the most liked idea so far in Libya? Your opinion is very valid.
I don't disagree. It's a brilliant idea. It's a lovely idea. You are helping so many people in terms of humanitarianism. It's really nice, but it's unrealistic. So I wish you the best of luck. If you do it, great. But I think you need to start thinking about something else.
So
That's the end now. That's the end. You can leave now, Malak. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The business starts to flourish. We're gonna buy a truck, like a food truck, and then we can take it around different venues and stuff, like on famous streets.
Okay, once again, I'm struggling here because what you're selling is a visual treat, as far as I can understand. It's something that's very colourful, very attractive. I need to see this, and I haven't got a picture of it. And although you did your best in describing it, I need to see these things. And it's a real shame that we're sitting here with a wooden table and a piece of blank paper in front of me, because what you're describing potentially sounds great, but I'm not interested because I can't see it. So it's just pie in the sky at the moment.
People that come here to Dubai miss that food. They can't get it here. You could provide that niche in that market. You could fill that gap. So good luck. Thank you for your time. Okay.
So why would a student buy your equipment from your vending machine and not go down to Carrefour or any other shop that's selling the same thing? Why are they going to use your machine?
Miss, let's be realistic. Most of the students, I think the majority of the students at the beginning of the year, they're so excited for school, they buy stationery. 1 month from the beginning, they lose all their pens, their pencils, their geometry sets, their calculators, even their pencil cases, some lose their bags. So let's be realistic. I think a student needs pens, pencils, calculators for certain subjects in school. He cannot put full effort in those subjects without having the correct resources. So my business will be providing for those students the resources that they need. At the same time, I'm a monopoly. I have no competitors in this industry, in this market, or in school. I don't have any competitors.
So if we're starting with 2 machines, are you planning on putting them in this school?
Yes.
In SRS. Okay, so we're going to start with this school. And you've said that your profit would be 30,000 in the first year.
Yes.
Where did you get that figure from?
Basically this, when I counted how much will, this is always depending on probabilities, miss. How much will I sell, the time that I will sell, the prices that I've set it. Okay? So I thought about the turnovers. How many times for the turnovers? I thought about the amount of students that we have in secondary school, boys and girls. I put each student at least, for every 2 students, at least if one purchased one product from my vending machine. So I bought this number from the statistics. And that's just a probability.
Okay.
Success, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
All the best for the future.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Good luck with the rest of the process.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And you.
All the best for the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fraser.
Good luck.
Have a pleasant day.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for helping me out today and narrowing down these 10 candidates. I'll start with David. If we can just go around and we can start a conversation on what ideas do we want to get rid of or not useful, or what is good, and then we can all just jump in.
On the whole, I would say I was very unimpressed by most of the business plans. They were flawed, they were way over budget, a lot of them. The ideas were stupid, they didn't make any sense, apart from maybe 2 or 3 that stood out for me. Abdul Rahman's was good. I think potentially he could make a lot of money. The issue I've got with him is he biting off too much that he can chew right now. He's a one person, he said he's going to do it by himself, but he's got a lot to do.
As a media company, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, the media company. He's looking at doing 10 things on his own. Now, to make a 2-minute 2D video, you're looking at 2 weeks worth of work, 4 hours a day. It's ridiculous. And you're going to do a wedding video and this and this and this.
He needs a team for that, yeah.
He needs a team, and he hasn't got the budget for a team right now. But out of the boys, he's the only one I would nominate, I would put forward.
What did you guys think to Abdul Rahman? Lindsay, was he?
I totally agree with what David was saying. There's a reason there isn't a company like his doing 10, because are you just going to do 10 things badly?
I think he could potentially, he talks himself into these situations because when I questioned him a little bit further, he almost went back to the meet the candidates right at the very beginning, talking about impossible being nothing, and it's admirable.
I know there was a couple that didn't actually submit a business plan. I mean, that's a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Mohammed Saeed, he actually made the bold claim that it was better that it was in his mind than on paper.
His idea is the idea with the vending machine, is that right? With the stationery?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea actually.
I'm madly impressed with the business plans. The food-related ones, there was Hannah who had a food-related plan, and so did Jaffa. I think what stood out about Hannah is that she has started this a while ago on a social media platform, and she's already got 6,000 to 7,000 followers.
It's strange you say that because her mother's business is actually in the same industry, and the logo appears to be just the name change. So I'm just thinking that 6,000 followers might be just running off a claim on her mother rather than just herself. Mr. Fraser, who would you say?
Well, someone I would probably discount would have been Mohammed Salah's one, who the suggestion of this microwavable fast food hamburger in the park is really the last thing Dubai needs. It's the last thing that you want to be made available to people in the park. He came across well, but as a concept and an idea, that one was flawed for me.
Fraser, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. You're going to have piping hot plastic containers.
It's a shame.
You can't sit down here. You've got to carry it. You're going to burn yourself. And he's selling it to children 8 years old and elderly people.
It's a shame because he's quite good at representing himself, isn't he? That's the thing, and the idea doesn't really. Yeah. What about what do you reckon to Jaffa?
He's got some good ideas, and I think he's very committed and very passionate about the whole thing. But when I'm kind of looking at his business model, I see a cake shop, and I'm kind of, I want to see something a bit more than that, than just a cake shop.
Well, I asked him what his USP was, and he said, my USP is I found a niche in the market. I'm going to go for diabetics, low sugar, gluten-free.
Trying to kill him.
Right? The things he's promoted in there contain Nutella, Snickers, Oreo.
Yeah, he's trying to kill him. One of them's come up with a gaming idea. Amir, what's? I mean, that's running in school. I don't know if that's a good idea, is it? In running in school.
You can't be playing games where you're shooting and killing people and then go and pray. It doesn't make sense. It's contradictory.
Well, morally, they're going to go home and play their computer games anyway. So surely this is the time that they should be socialising.
One candidate that I did feel a bit sorry for was Iman, because I loved her idea. We didn't have a business plan, and I liked her idea, but it needed visuals to me.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of end the interview fairly early because she wasn't obviously prepared.
What about Batul? It's quite an interesting idea.
I wasn't convinced with the idea. Everyone's got a power bank nowadays.
I thought it was a great idea. I think it's a really good idea. I don't own a power bank. You got a power bank?
I've not got a power bank. No.
I know a lot of people that don't have them. And in the mall, I've often been running out a battery. I think it's a really good idea. And potentially, just on one unit, I worked out she could make 76,000 dirhams if it's used all day, all year. That's on one unit. Potentially, she could make millions and then sit back and retire.
So who would you put forward? 2 names. It can be 2 boys, 2 girls, boy, girl.
I would put forward Abdul Rahman, Batul, possibly Hannah. That was 3.
Mr. Louise?
My top 2 people, actually for how they came across and what they're kind of putting together and how well thought out it really is Malak and Abdul Rahman.
Malak and Abdul Rahman. Mr. John?
Hannah would be my top choice, and then probably for the point you mentioned about the passion, Jaffa.
Right, thank you. Miss Lindsay?
Can I have 3? I'm not such a fan of Abdul Rahman's idea. I don't think it's particularly workable. But I think as a person and as someone who's going to make it work, he would get my backing. However, in terms of the ideas, I really like Jafar and then Batul.
Mr. Ashley?
Similar consensus really. Batul and Jaffa.
Mr. Fraser?
Well, although I wouldn't maybe put Mohammed Said at the top of my list, you know, when you think about somebody who knows their market, then this guy's onto something, you know, selling stationery at SRS. You ever tried to get pencils from Rafiq or a ruler? You know, there is a market in there, and that is a place he could start. He can talk the talk. Abdul Rahman, of course, he inspires confidence with the way he can convince and talk with the numbers. And, you know, probably the other one would be Malik as well. Although it needs a little refining, it's still, you know, a good concept and a good social project as well, I thought.
Definitely a lot to think about. I mean, there's a few things that I've got to go back to the drawing board with before I make that decision when I see them in the boardroom. But without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much for taking part.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Good morning. Good morning. Well, first I'd like to congratulate all of you to be able to making it to this stage of the process. We're going to get straight into it because, as you all know, there's going to be a lot of possibly broken hearts today, but we have to proceed and get through to who's going through to the final in order to become my apprentice. So let's start things off. The first business plan that I want to talk about is Amir. We had a good look at this and we tried to weigh up the pros and cons and where you sit into this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, you're in the wrong market for this in terms of school. If you're going to try and operate this in school, you're going to have a lot of obstacles. So, I don't see this being going through or being a plan that I would like to entertain. So, Amir, I think this is probably where the journey ends for you. There's loads of business plans that we've gone through, but another one that I'm going to look at now, Sarah, Cheap 2. Now, we've gone through this. The concept of fashion is a lot more complex than it's been presented in here in terms of the way it will be delivered. And in terms of even the branding itself, like, for example, if I was to say to you, oh, that's a really nice suit, where did you get it from? You don't really want to associate it with, oh, I got it from a place called Cheap 2. On this occasion, Sarah, I'm afraid, it isn't a plan that I would like to follow through and go through with, so you'll find out. Thank you. Mohammed Salah, the microwaving vending machine. I think you're a smart young man. You've presented yourself well. Even the interview said that in terms of the way you presented yourself, the way you spoke, the way you carried yourself, the answers you had, you answered back to every question. So in terms of as a interpersonal skills and your communication skills, you've got a fantastic set of skills. And that's a good, and I mean that's a good credit. And I feel like the plan didn't link to the way you are and the way you've presented yourself throughout this process. I know you've come up with different ideas in the past that are great. I know you've been part of different fantastic projects in your past, but on this occasion, Mohammed, I'm going to have to let you go. You're fired.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. This is a very difficult decision, Hannah. I've seen of your skills, the acumen that you've brought forward, your personality, you have this perseverance, persistence, you don't take no for an answer. Now the idea, I've looked at it and it looks very similar to an existing business which is within the family anyway in terms of the designing and the name itself, it already exists. And again, some of the costing was quite alarming in the sense of the way you know, $1 million and this kind of thing, and it doesn't really tie in on this scale of business. However, I do think that you are definitely going to make this happen. But on this occasion, again, I'm going to have to let you go. But thank you very much for everything you've done. You're fired.
Thanks, Sarah.
Jafar, Iman, have a seat, please. Now, my advisors have been speaking to me, and we've kind of narrowed it down to you 6 before we start letting more people go. So now I think what I want to do is, I know that My advisors had a few things that they wanted to talk about with certain plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to open that up, and maybe Miss Sarah, you could start us off.
Okay, well, the one I'm going to talk about today is Malik, your business plan. Overall, the feedback is you did a very good interview. You knew your stuff, your figures were on point, and you seem to know the industry that you were going into. The only thing that we're worried about is the scale of it. It's quite large scale, and we're not sure if it suits this process.
Even though the scale is big, this is not a normal product I'm producing. I'm producing a highly needed commodity. So the scale has to be big in order to cover a supply of 6 to 7 million citizens.
But don't get us wrong, we love the fact
I actually like the idea.
We love the fact that
I like the
you're
idea.
thinking on a large scale, larger than anybody else. So that we do like that.
Yeah, I do like that. Dr. Ilyas?
I've got Imans. So you had Desi Dabba, which was a good idea. Good idea, taking out authentic Pakistani food, taking out, having a pop-up stand, did you say? And then moving on to a truck. One of the things was that we read about was staffing costs. There's a lot of things you've not discussed in your plan. I don't know if you want to say anything about that?
So initially when we're going to start at the pop-up stand, we won't need as many employees. I think me and my mom and just one more person.
I quite like the idea. I quite like the idea because you can see these businesses now. They're popping up and they're growing. It's definitely one that I enjoyed reading in terms of the idea, the concept. But some of the things I wasn't sure about in terms of costing, which Dr. Ilyas has mentioned. Mr. Carver?
I looked at Jaffa's business plan, and I thought there was a lot of detail there. Can I just have a look at just to pick out on some of the things? I think the idea was really good. I really liked the branding. I was just a little bit concerned with, on a long-term scale, if you were to perhaps comment on, maybe look towards going down the courses, the recipe, the books and the courses that you're running. If you were to go down that route, that is something where I would see success.
There's no denying that with a few tweaks, Jafar, that this has got a lot of potential, and I can't like the fact the way you've branded it. It's original. It's kind of down to the core of who started the business, only at JJ's, and I did like the idea. It's slightly different, and I think that's the reason why, in comparison to another business plan that had cakes related, this is why this has stayed in here, because of that future planning that could be tweaked into being an actual plan to start off with. So, but yeah, well done on your effort there. I did like reading that. Mohammed Saeed, your business plan. Now, I found this quite interesting. I'm going to say this to you because I said it to the camera and you'll probably see this later, was that he couldn't be bothered to check his emails. I'm going to agree with you. When something arrives to my desk late, Jafar's already experienced me saying this before. When something arrives to my after the deadline, it's at the bottom of my pile in terms of priorities. Let me finish. Let me finish, and then I'll let you speak. I promise I'll let you speak. So that's why this was at the bottom of my priorities, because you didn't put this as your priority. But what do you want to say? Because then I'll feed back to you.
I take full responsibility of the thing that I did, which is handing my business plan late. So I take a full responsibility. There's no shortcuts in any business. There's a deadline, So I'm telling you, sir, take full responsibility.
Yeah. You've got to be very careful with what you say on your word choice, because it seems kind of disrespectful at times. And I know you probably didn't intend it was just passion and just getting angry because you didn't have this in time and no one had it at hand to read. But that's your fault.
It's my fault.
But you've got to accept that. But having said all of that, the reason why you're still here is because this business plan is actually very good.
It was brief.
It was. That's the thing. It was brief. You don't need to tell me that, because listen to all of the effort that's gone in. There's about 4 or 5 pages, and that's probably because you put size 16 font.
Actually, that's 14. Font with the ball.
But one of the things I actually liked about the idea, putting all jokes aside, was that it's a realistic idea. There's a market. It's a creative and new idea, and I did like that about the way you presented it in terms of like, you've come up with a very simple concept of a vending machine for stationary items. The fact that it's a little bit, like you said, a bit short, gives me a bit of a few limitations with me getting a full grasp of the idea, but I'm sure that's something that we could possibly get more information on at a later date. Miss Eloise, could you go through the media company from Abdurrahman, please?
So I had the pleasure to interview everybody, and I was very impressed with everyone's interview, and I was particularly impressed with your interview as well. And I found your media company to be very interesting. On one side, I think it needs a little bit of remodelling. I think the prices need looking at again, and I think maybe your business structure just needs a little bit of revisiting. But I do think it's a very workable model, and I do think it's something that can get up and running very quickly. And I think you are someone who is someone that I would invest in.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Sarah.
I'd just like to say I was quite impressed with your business plan as well.
Thank you, Miss.
Your services that you're offering is very diverse. The only thing is, you might want to ask yourself, why aren't other businesses offering all of these services as well? Are you overstretching yourself?
I had 10 different services that I offer, but in my business plan I stated exactly which services are going to be introduced each year. In the first year we're just going to offer one service, which is commercial services. In the second year, new services will be introduced. Third year, new services. Fourth year, new services. So I'm not going to stretch myself. I'm not going to start big from the first year. However, there's a clear, precise strategy of which businesses or which services I will introduce each year.
Okay. I think you're a very practical person, and I liked your promotion idea as well. Doing some work for free for charities and using that to promote your business.
Now, I've been a big fan of yours from the start of this process. I think you've been a very credible candidate. One of the things I'll question, the name. Is that the name, media company?
Yes.
Media company?
No, the name is Camera Lens Production.
Camera Lens Production.
Camera Lens
The media company is what the business is going to do.
Right. Okay. Don't like the logo. I don't like the slogan. I think it doesn't stand out. It doesn't really represent you.
For the logo, if I just want to point out, the logo was done roughly in one day because we don't have enough time to do the business plan. So I did the logo roughly in one day.
Here's the problem. Now, me knowing you as a person, you've represented yourself very well. I personally don't think this has represented you well at all.
Just to summarise everything that's been said, there's no denying that you've got a skill set, and it's admirable that you put a lot of drive into it, and it means a lot to you. However, again, I think you've answered the fact that you're going to stage your approach. The actual model works. The actual model works in the sense that you've got a skill set that backs this up. So you could start off with this, as you've said, pretty small scale. I think there's some tweaks that are needed, but that's natural at this stage of the process. But that's something that we'll get to. The last business plan that we haven't spoken about, the tools. Dr. Elias?
The tools, very simple, very good. I thought it was very simple. Get a charger, always without a charger. I never take a battery pack myself. Therefore, your idea is very good, very simple. But what stops that idea being copied?
Well, if someone else does the idea, then I'm going to obviously have to do something better. I'm not just going to limit my business to one thing. I'm going to offer more services.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by more? What's more?
Well, I'm thinking for the same idea in time. I was talking to the interviews as well, that if the business goes successful, I'm hopefully going to put stations instead of hiring staff to rent the charges. I'm going to put stations where you can just put the money in, and it's something that won't be requiring any staff, so something much more easier and practical.
I like your idea. I am somebody who runs out of battery all the time, especially if it was in a mall, and I like that there is, I thought first when I read it, I was like, this is already done. And then when I read it again, the fact that you're giving the power packs and you're saying, what makes mine unique is you get to continue using your phone. You don't have to leave it in a little box locked somewhere. And if I want to keep the power pack, I lose my deposit. Straightforward, simple, and I pay into it.
Thank you.
For me, I find your business a little bit like Marmite. You either like it or you don't like it, and I think it was very split down the middle. I think you will have a market of people who think that they would need this service, and I think there is also a market who will never use your service. I kind of sit on, I think, on the other side of this business where I think you are very good, and I think you will make a business work, and I think you are very professional and very good in the way you've prepared your numbers in your business. For me, your model doesn't work.
I think for me, again, I like the idea, and in an ideal world, it's a fantastic idea, but I have a charger on my phone, so I can just press a button and it's charging my phone, and people sell these chargers where you can just clip it on and away you go. And it charges your phone. Again, like I said, I can see it's a fantastic idea, but I think there are obstacles.
Well, if you have a charger, a good quality charger, a fast charging, I can see yours isn't really that high quality, but for a good quality charger, it would be almost 150 to 200 dirhams, that price range. You aren't going to remember it every day. And for the case where you forget to charge your phone, which is very, very, very normal, you can just easily come to the business, and it's very simple and practical. You can just 15 dirhams, 50 is a deposit, so you know that you'll get it back.
Right, Tool. I've looked at your business plan, Tool, and the only thing that I'm not happy about is the longevity of it. Like, it's a great concept to start rolling let's just say we take more and we start rolling the kiosk. Yeah, great. As soon as someone else gets onto it, or an existing kiosk where you have phones, they can say, yeah, we start offering this now too. Where do you go to next? Do you have to then mimic their business model and say, oh, I will offer accessories too? What would you say to that?
No, if that happens, I'm gonna obviously offer more stuff that will grab. I will do more market research, see what the market wants, and do it and get more ideas. I'm not gonna limit my business, like I said before, to this idea.
Right, I think we've had enough chit chat about your business plans. Obviously now it comes down to crunch time as to where we're going to take this. So I'm going to start releasing people. I'm going to start with, although I like the idea, it does need a lot of developing, it does need to adapt, and it does need to change. Now Jaffa, that's where I look at you and I see a young individual who's got a lot of fire, a lot of spirit, and I don't think you're going to give up. And I don't think you're going to stop here. And I think we can definitely re-look after tweaking this on the business educational side. And I think before this task, there was a hint given to you when you were talking with another candidate about, we could start our own tutorial videos or our own educational concept. And I think you should have grabbed that idea, and that should have been your core idea, because you already mentioned it. It was whilst you were at Top Chef. So I think you need to go back to that board, and I think don't go down this route because it already exists. But on this occasion, Jafar, we won't be starting only JJ's, but I'm sure JJ's will start soon. But I'm going to let you go.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Now, Imam, I've looked at the business plan and I like the business plan. I actually think it's an idea that I can see working very quickly. And I mean, let's just say a few months' time you could have this up and running, and I think you should definitely look at that, because you've got everything in-house. Everything's within the family right now. So a nice small family startup is a nice way to start this business. Or notifying or letting people know that there's an issue, but it's definitely something that you need to do in the future. But I think on this occasion, you need to just go back and think about the staffing, think about the licensing involved in popping up these businesses and the costs involved. But on this occasion, you won't be investing into your idea. But thank you very much. Bye. I think when I started this process, and a couple of weeks in, I thought that this candidate was definitely one, if not one of the strongest candidates, the strongest candidate in this process. Now, I think Malik, you're that person that I'm talking about. I started this process a week or two and I thought, she's going to make it. She's going to do everything. I think she can win it. like we're just going through the motions here. I think it's such a strong character. So, you know what you want, you get there, you get it done, and you've presented a plan which I think all of us really liked. There's no denying. I think we can't even, there's nothing to say that I can think, actually I don't like that business plan. I actually like the business plan. I see that the whole cycle of the way you're investing into creating jobs and the kind of, the ethics involved is really kind of commendable. And I like it. However, I think the scale of it is not something that's suited for here. But on this occasion, you won't be proceeding through to the final. Thank you very much and best wishes. It was never going to be a happy ending for everyone. We all knew that when we came in. And it is sad because there's a lot of good business plans in front of me. Now, I told you I like the business plan. I mentioned that I do like the business plan. I think it's got some longevity things, that concerns or issues or hurdles perhaps, which I feel might limit your business growth. And then there's another thing in which that you're quite young in this process. I mean, there's still a bit of learning to take place before you are ready to make this step. I do feel that on this occasion that you've shown me enough skills, and you've shown that you've grown through this process and presented a business plan which has, with a few tweaks, it can go places. So, Batul, I want to congratulate you. You're going to be going into the final. So, best wishes for the final. However, on this side of the table, Abdurrahman, you've been like Mr. Carver said, he's been a fan of yours from the start. In terms of, he's thought that you've shown a lot of skills, a lot of good, what's the word I'm looking for? I just keep saying good skills, it's not really good skills. I think you've shown how practical you are and how you put these concepts and things together. What is it all talk? I don't know, I don't think so. It doesn't look that way. You've been very good all the way through. And I think there are a few tweaks to every business plan. And I think that's the only thing I worry about. You're kind of very defensive in hearing feedback. When I was saying to you earlier, those kind of things make me wonder that are you ready to take any feedback on? If that's from your interview, I gathered that you want to get into a strategic partnership. But I'm not getting that when I meet you face to face. You're telling the interviews, but I'm not getting that necessarily just now on this occasion. But I do feel that you are definitely. I've watched you through this process, and I've watched you grow through this process. And I feel that I'm not taking a gamble here. I think I'm making definitely a decision that's based on results, based on what you've offered, what you've shown all of us through this process. And I'm going to congratulate you by going. You're going to go through to the final against Batul.
Thank you.
Mohammed Saeed, because you're probably wondering why I've kept you here till the end and not fired you, but there's a reason why I've kept you here. Now, I want to tell you that your business plan, could I just get a copy? Is that the business plan? I actually like this business plan, and I feel it has a place. So what I want to do is, although on this occasion you don't go through to the final, I want you to be in touch with me. I want you to keep in touch. We'll meet at a later date, and we need to think about how we can put this forward and make this a reality, because I think this has a place in the market. I think it needs a bit of work. Perhaps you need to come back with the full plan.
Yes.
But I honestly believe you're onto a good idea. Don't give this up. If you want to come and see me, you can arrange that with my office and we can meet at a later date, and we'll get back to the drawing board and make this a reality. But again, on this occasion, just protocol on this occasion, you haven't made it through to the final. I wish you all luck and be in touch. Your father.
Thank you very much, Sir Ali. You taught me a lot of new things. I had a lot of experience. I was disrespectful. I disrespected you on some occasions, so I'm sorry. So I owe you one, sir. Thank you very much.
Be in touch.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it, guys. The final date will be set. You'll be contacted through the office. You'll be given a brief slightly before, so you have a bit of an idea of what you need to do to prepare. I wish you both the best of luck, best wishes, and let's see who makes it to the final apprentice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So guys, there you have it. Finalists set. Happy with that?
Wow, well, fine.
I think we've made the right decision.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely put the right two forward out of the business plans.
I think you've got two candidates here who have really, really taken it to the next level from the first task all the way to the end. I think Atul, being so young, has developed and has grown in stature, and Abdul Rahman's versatility in every task. He's become good when he's a project manager, he's worked hard for the team. Now they've just got to prove themselves as leaders.
It is time to see who shines and becomes the apprentice. Well, again, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch again.
See you in the final.
See you in the final. See you in the final. Thank you.